All right, so you know that feeling, right? You went to bed okay, maybe even got like 8 solid hours. No horrible alarm jolting you awake. You even skipped that late-night caffeine hit. And yet, you wake up feeling like, I don't know, a zombie that definitely lost the war. Just heavy, foggy.
Oh, yeah, that heavy sort of out-of-it blur, like your brain's just not online yet.
Exactly, such a familiar thing. But what if I told you that feeling, that exhaustion, it isn't actually about being tired?
Okay.
What if, and this is from the guide we're digging into today, what if you're not tired? You're unrecovered.
Unrecovered.
And there's a huge, like a really profound difference. The source material puts it so dramatically. It says this isn't just sleep. It's a ritual, a battlefield, even a crime scene.
Wow. Okay.
And get this, the killer might just be you. Kind of harsh, right?
Yeah, that's intense. So what's the source for this?
It's Kristen Rogers' feature on CNN Health called Why You Wake Up Tired and How to Fix It. And honestly, it's not your typical sleep tips article. It feels more like a deep dive guide. It's backed by science, full of stuff that really made me go, huh, like a necessary jolt.
Sounds intriguing. So what's the plan for this deep dive?
Well, our mission today is to really unpack what true recovery means. Going way beyond just, sleeping. We're going to challenge some big myths, find those hidden things messing with your energy, give you some actual fixes, and also, importantly, look at what even this guide might be missing.
Okay, a critical look, too. Good.
Yeah. Get ready for some aha moments, because this could really shift how you think about rest. Let's get into it.
So what really jumps out first is how this guide it doesn't hold back at all. We're all kind of taught that sleep equals recovery, right? Basic equation.
Pretty much, yeah.
But the article just says, flat out, wrong. It suggests that maybe when you're asleep, you're not really resting. You might just be going unconscious in bad condition.
Oof. Unconscious in bad conditions. That hits hard.
It really does. It shifts the whole perspective from passive rest to something active, deliberate recovery.
That's such a huge reframe. It's not just, close your eyes and hope. And the first thing it tackles is something I bet loads of us feel daily, but maybe don't have a name for. Sleep inertia. That foggy, slow, like dead inside feeling when you first wake up.
Yeah.
Where your brain just won't start.
Yeah, the mental molasses.
Totally. I always just thought, I'm just not a morning person. Blame myself.
And that's super common. But the guide explains sleep inertia. It's specifically because you got woken up out of deep sleep instead of naturally coming out of a lighter sleep stage.
Okay, that makes sense.
And here's the kicker. The trap loads of us fall into hitting the snooze button.
Guilty.
If you keep hitting snooze, you're basically just restarting that fog over and over. Every snooze, it's reset on your brain trying to wake up, pulls it back under, then it has to fight its way out again.
Yeah.
It just makes the grogginess last longer.
Wow. So hitting snooze is basically like punching yourself in the face, slap-wise.
Pretty much. Self-sabotage, like you said.
So, okay, if snooze is out, how do we actually fight this sleep inertia? How do we wake up feeling human?
Are there actual steps beyond just suffering through it?
Yeah.
The guide offers some really practical fixes, surprisingly simple actually, but they can make a big difference.
Yeah.
First, your alarm, that horrible beep, 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 beat, ditch it.
Please.
Swap it for something like gentle, melodic. You want to coax your brain awake, not blast it into shock.
Okay, gentle alarm. Got it.
Second, light. The guide says, let light smack your brain awake.
I like that. Visual.
It is. Open the curtains right away. Step outside if you can. Light's a huge signal to your brain. Hey, daytime. Stop making melatonin.
Makes sense. Sunlight power.
And third, this is key. Motion kills inertia.
Motion kills inertia.
Get out of bed. Immediately. Don't lie there scrolling or thinking about your to-do list. The second your feet hit the floor and you start moving, you start breaking that inertia's grip, like jump-starting yourself.
Okay, that really flips it from passive to active. But, what if you're just naturally a slow starter? Is it really that simple? Just jump out of bed.
Well, it emphasizes making it a habit, that immediate motion. Sure, your internal clock, your chronotype, plays a role. But the guy argues that doing these things consistently actually retrains your brain.
Retraining. Okay.
It's all about clear, consistent signals. And speaking of signals, the guide then goes after our bedrooms.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. It says dramatically, your sleep is dying in the same place you rest because your room is designed for chaos.
Chaos. Sounds bad. We think it's our sanctuary.
Right. But maybe it's quietly sabotaging us. This whole section is basically about sleep hygiene, but way more intense.
Yeah, given the tone, I'm guessing it's not just like friendly suggestions, more like commandments.
Exactly. It's about building a temple for sleep, not just, a room where you happen to have a bed. And the rules are pretty foundational. Take temperature.
Okay. Cool room. Right, we hear that a lot.
We do, but the guide stresses why it's crucial. Your body needs to drop its core temperature a bit to get into and stay in deep sleep. It's not just comfort, it's a biological trigger for real recovery. So piling on blankets might actually work against you.
Huh. So my cozy blanket nest might be stopping deep sleep. Interesting. What else are we messing up in our supposed sanctuaries?
Darkness. It needs to be dark, like blackout level dark.
Why so extreme?
Because even tiny bits of light from your phone charger, a crack under the door, whatever can mess with your REM sleep. REM is vital for memory, emotions. Your brain sees any light and thinks, oh, maybe it's time to wake up soon.
Right, okay. Total darkness.
And quiet.
Yeah.
Really quiet. No TV humming in the corner, no muffled sounds from elsewhere. It even warns against white noise abuse.
Abuse? What does that mean?
Well, while white noise can mask disruptive sounds, if it's too loud or always on, your brain might not fully relax. It's still kind of processing that constant sound, which can interfere with deep sleep.
Okay, so quiet is key.
Right.
And then, the big one, screens. I feel like the guide is going to be strict here.
Oh, absolutely. The rule is crystal clear. No screens an hour before bed, period. And it even calls out, like even that one YouTube video.
Ouch, called out.
Yeah, it's the blue light, obviously, suppressing melatonin, the sleep hormone, but it's also the mental stimulation. Answering an email, reading news, scrolling social media.
Yeah.
It keeps your brain buzzing when it needs to be winding down.
Hard to prep for sleep when you're still processing stuff.
Exactly.
The guide wraps this whole section up with that really powerful analogy. You don't fall asleep. You prepare the temple. Then the gods of sleep enter.
I like that.
It really changes it. It's not passive surrender. It's this deliberate, conscious act of creating the right conditions.
Yeah, a ritual.
Okay, so we've got the morning fog sorted, the bedroom temple. But then the article goes somewhere I honestly didn't expect. It says, what you eat and drink has direct power over your sleep quality. Sleep starts in the kitchen.
Yeah, this is a huge one and so often overlooked. We think about food for energy, for weight, but for sleep, not always. But the guide lays out these specific sleep killers that many of us consume without realizing the damage they're doing to our night's rest.
Okay, hit me. Like caffeine, my beloved morning coffee, maybe afternoon too.
Coffee's fine, but it's all about timing. The guide says caffeine after 2 p.m. Big problem.
2 p.m., that early.
Yep. Because caffeine has a half-life of like 5 or 6 hours. So a 3 p.m. coffee means half that caffeine is still active in your system at 8 or 9 p.m. It keeps blocking adenosine, that chemical that makes you feel sleepy. Even if you don't feel wired, it can still mess up your sleep structure.
Wow, okay. No late afternoon coffee.
What about dinner? I always thought a big meal makes you sleepy. Turkey coma, right?
That's the paradox. A heavy dinner, especially late, it means your body is busy digesting, not dreaming. Your digestive system is working hard when it should be chilling out. It raises your core temperature, makes it harder to get that deep, restorative sleep.
So digestion fights sleep.
Okay.
And alcohol. Lots of people use it to unwind, right? A nightcap. Yeah, classic mistake. Alcohol might help you nod off quicker, true, but the guide is blunt. It destroys REM and fragments your night.
Destroys REM. That sounds bad.
It is. Your sleep stages get all messed up.
Yeah.
You miss out on that crucial REM, sleep needed for memory, emotions. So you wake up feeling unrested, even if you slept for ages. And then there's the obvious one. Drinking too much water late at night.
The multiple bathroom trips.
Exactly. Waking up 3 times for the bathroom just shatters your sleep continuity.
So the fixes for this kitchen situation sound simple, but hard. Requires discipline.
It does. Eat lighter dinners, avoid those heavy, rich foods later on. Hydrate well during the day, but ease off fluids in the evening. And that simple mantra, no booze, no stimulants, no drama. Basically, set your body up for calm, not chaos.
It makes sense. You're not just hoping for good sleep, you're actively preparing the internal environment too.
Yeah.
Okay, this deep dive is seriously flipping the script. Most of us think, okay, 10 p.m., time to wind down for sleep.
Right, start the routine then.
But this guide says, nope. You don't start preparing for sleep at 10 p.m., you start at 7 a.m.
Whoa.
That blew my mind a bit. Made me look at my whole day differently.
That's a fascinating point. It's all about your circadian rhythm, right? Your body's internal clock. Every signal you send it during the daylight movement, even your mood is like an instruction. It teaches your brain when to power down later.
So it's cumulative.
Exactly. It's not just a switch you flip at night. It's programming that happens all day long.
So our daytime choices are like power tools for sculpting better sleep later.
That's a great way to put it. And the guide highlights a few key tools. First, sunlight within 30 minutes of waking. Super important.
Why so specific?
That early light exposure helps anchor your circadian rhythm. Tells your body daytime, which helps regulate melatonin release later on.
Okay, morning sun. Tool number 1.
Tool number 2, movement. Doesn't have to be a marathon. Even a short walk helps. Physical activity regulates sleep patterns, burns off stress, makes it easier to rest later.
Makes sense. Get the body moving.
And maybe the most crucial behavior change. Stop lying in bed scrolling.
Oof. The morning scroll habit, it's so easy.
It is, but doing that teaches your brain that your bed is a place for being awake, stimulated, looking at emails or news or whatever. It creates this association confusion. Bed should equal sleep, not wakeful inactivity.
That's a powerful point.
Yeah.
It really redefines the bed's job. It's not a lounge chair. And that leads perfectly into this other huge myth the guide just destroys.
Which one?
The weekend catch-up myth. Oh, I'll just sleep in on Saturday. We all do it.
Yeah, it feels like banking sleep.
Right. But the guide's assessment, that idea, garbage.
Uh-huh. Okay. Blunt again. Why garbage, though? Doesn't catching up help?
Apparently not.
Yeah.
Because your body wants rhythm, not chaos.
Right.
It craves consistency.
You can't just cheat your sleep cycle week after week and expect it to be fine.
Exactly. Sleeping in massively on weekends gives you what they call social jet lag.
Social jet lag. Like flying across time zones but without leaving home.
Pretty much. It messes up your internal clock, making it harder to sleep and wake up during the week. You're constantly fighting your own biology.
Okay, so if weekend catch-up is out, what's the rule? How do we keep that rhythm?
The core rule is simple, but maybe the hardest. Go to sleep and wake up at the same time. Every single day.
Every day. Even weekends.
Even weekends. Consistency is king for reinforcing that natural sleep-wake cycle.
Wow. Okay, that's a commitment. Any other key rules for rhythm?
Yes, the 20-minute rule. If you're lying in bed awake for more than, say, 20 minutes, don't just lie there stressing.
What should you do?
Get out of bed. Go do something quiet and relaxing in dim light. Read a book, maybe. Then, when you feel sleepy again, go back to bed.
Break the association. Don't let the bed become a place where you worry about not sleeping.
Exactly. It reinforces that core idea again. Your bed is for sleep, period. Not for stress, not for scrolling, not for beating yourself up. Just sleep.
It all ties together, the environment, the timing, the habits.
It really does. This guide feels incredibly powerful, and it's clearly science-backed. A solid blueprint. But, let's be real, we shouldn't just accept it wholesale, right? It can't be perfect. The deep dive needs that critical lens. What's missing here?
That's a really important point. It is a solid blueprint, but it definitely has limitations. We need to acknowledge those. The biggest one, it kind of assumes you have full control over your schedule.
Yeah. That's a big assumption.
Huge. What about shift workers? New parents? Students juggling classes and jobs. Their schedules are often chaotic, dictated by external factors. Consistent sleep times might be, frankly, impossible for them.
So it's maybe not universally applicable in that sense. What else?
It also focuses very heavily on the physical and environmental stuff, sleep hygiene, which is great, but it largely ignores mental health. Well, depression, anxiety, trauma, these things have a massive impact on sleep. You can have the perfect dark, cool room and eat all the right things. But if you're dealing with severe anxiety, for example, sleep can still be incredibly difficult. These conditions affect your brain chemistry in ways lifestyle changes alone might not fix.
Right. It's not just about habits then. It's about underlying conditions.
Exactly. And related to that, it doesn't really dive deep into specific sleep disorders like sleep apnea or restless leg syndrome or narcolepsy, or even things like chronic nightmares. Those often need actual medical diagnosis and treatment beyond the scope of general sleep advice.
Okay, so it's a great starting point, maybe a foundation, but not the whole building for everyone.
Precisely. It's a fantastic guide for optimizing sleep hygiene and understanding recovery. Very valuable. But, like the guide itself hints, it's not a cure-all. You shouldn't expect miracles if, life is genuinely chaotic or if there's an underlying medical or mental health issue.
So manage expectations. Use it as a powerful foundation,
Yeah.
but know it might not be the complete answer, depending on your situation.
Exactly. Build on it, adapt it, but don't see it as the final word for every single person.
Which brings us right back around to that core message, that powerful reframe the guide offers. You're not tired because you didn't sleep. You're tired because you never recovered.
That shift from sleep to recovery really is the key takeaway, isn't it?
It feels like it is.
It highlights just how active and vital sleep truly is. It's not just downtime. It's this intense process of, well, rebirth, almost. Your brain is rebooting, clearing out waste products. Your body's cells are regenerating, repairing damage. Your minerals are getting sorted and stored. It's housekeeping on a massive scale.
Housekeeping, repair, reboot. It's a full system overhaul every night.
Pretty much. Active, essential maintenance.
And the flip side, when we sabotage that process, the guide ends with a pretty chilling warning. You don't just wake up tired, you wake up less alive than the day before.
Oof. Less alive. That's stark.
It really is. It suggests it's not just about feeling groggy. It's a cumulative hit to your vitality, your ability to function, to engage, to live fully.
Which makes sense if recovery is truly about repair and regeneration. Less recovery means less you.
Exactly. So maybe the final thought the conversation this guide leaves us all with is this. Next time you get into bed, ask yourself, am I just going to sleep? Or am I actually going to heal?
That reframes the entire act of going to bed.
It does. Think about your own rituals, your own signals. Are you setting yourself up for mere unconsciousness or for genuine recovery? For healing? Something powerful to consider.